Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. It's me, John Green, with the Swindon Swoodilypoopers in a stirring turn of events. It is raining in England, and we are back home at the county ground where we have just brought the FA Cup to our beloved Swindon Town Swoodilypooper fans. Wait, unless we're away. Now I think we might be away. This looks like too big of a stadium for the county ground. No, we're at home. We're at home. Confirmed. So today I want to talk to you about a lot of people after my last video wanted to know about our business principles. So today I will talk to you about that. For those of you who like, oh no, this is not off to a good start at all. Boy, you go up one skill level and all of a sudden they're really good. I'm going to talk to you about boring economic stuff for those of you who are interested in that. So I do think generally that there are. I've talked before about how I am essentially, I believe in free markets, and I think that the free market has made a lot of good things for a lot of people in the world, and I continue to think that. That said, I don't believe in, unregulated free markets, and I do believe that businesses should operate with, ethically and with a certain amount of faith and in both their ball. John Green, Fitzhall, no. I think it's ultimately good business not to be a dick, to put it in Will Wheaton terms. And so our business principles all center around that idea of not being a jerk and not sucking. So the first. Hank and I joke about this, but it's true. The first rule of all business ventures for Hank and me is try not to get involved in a business where you will have to work with lawyers other than your cousin Mike. We like our cousin Mike, and he's a very good lawyer. And when we have business ventures that people are wanting us to do complicated legal things that do not involve our cousin Mike or do not involve good people trusting each other, we are generally not interested. That's a nice through ball, but it didn't work. And I think that's worked out really, really well for us. A couple of times it's limited our growth. You get to a point where people want to really involve a bunch of lawyers, and we just say no. But yeah, it's worked out so far. Oh, other John Green fails to finish. Boy, this is hard out here in the higher skill level. So that's the first rule of thumb is not so many lawyers, please. You guys, those of you who are not involved in copyright stuff or intellectual property stuff, probably do not know how many millions of lawyers there are. Thinking about those things at any moment. Wow, that was a really bad foul. I did it by accident, but I'm really sorry. I would not be surprised if that results in some kind of card. Go. I'm just not fast enough. Oh, that would have worked against, the championship opposition. Rule number 2 of our business is that the median employee should never make less than 10% of what the best paid employee makes. That's something that a lot of businesses, or not a lot, more I wish, but some businesses have embraced lately as a way of thinking about how to be fair with compensation. Why didn't you not pass to your husband? Obviously, that was a situation to pass to your husband where he could have scored easily. And I hit the right button and everything, and you disappointed me, Ball John Green. I don't like to call you out, but that was not good work. So the idea is that, the multiplier in American corporations for CEOs versus median pay these days is around 400. Oh, no. They scored on us. The multiplier is about 417, as I recall, and that multiplier is too high, in our opinion. Executives get paid too much. Other employees get paid too little, particularly in profitable companies. Too much of the profits go to executives and stockholders, and not enough go to the employees of those companies. So that's the second rule. Full-time employees never make less than 10% of what the best paid employees make. generally that means limiting executive compensation rather than, like that means that if you want to make $1 million a year, your average employee has to make $100,000 a year. Now, obviously, we are not in that bracket, but if we ever were, that would be fun. So that's another business principle. We also believe in. We have a principle that we call. Well, I can't use the exact language. I already cursed once in this video. We have a principle that we call working with people we like, essentially, and not working with people that we don't like, or people whose values we don't share, people who we feel like are not trying to like build stuff that's awesome. But the most important thing is whenever Hank and I do something, we have to be able to answer the question, how is this going to change the world by saying that A, it will change the world, and B, it will not make the world worse, which is not easy because there are a lot of good business ideas that don't necessarily make the world better. And in fact, like I remember when Hank was launching 2D glasses, I kept asking him that. I was like, Hank, how does this make the world better? Really? Like, of the things that we could be doing, is this the thing that needs to be addressed? The world's paucity of 2D glasses. And he was like, yes, it bothers my wife a lot that she has to go to these 3D movies with me, and this is how I'm going to solve the problem. And so, I was like, all right, if you can make it about Catherine, I guess I'm cool with it. Oh, why can't he finish today? Oh, it's disappointing. Still down 1-0. So that's a really, so like when we were talking about launching these new channels, Crash Course and SciShow, it was really important to us not only that they have an audience, but that they be things that really helped people and provided a useful service that could make the world kind of a better, more informed, more engaged place. That's always the judge of it, is like, how can we use this to make the world more engaged and make us more deeply engaged with the world. So that's served us really. Oh boy, you missed. My keeper scared you because he's got a good haircut. So we try to take that pretty seriously, and that's also been kind of our guiding principle in Nerdfighteria, that we don't, like, occasionally, sure, we'll do an animal sex video, but we don't want to. We want the animal sex videos to be informative and educational, and to remind us, that like sexuality is universal, and that anyone who feels like their own sexuality is weird or unhealthy or unusual is probably wrong, and just needs to look to the mountain goat for evidence. Fits all. No, it's a disappointment. And then there's a couple unnecessary slide tackles of frustration. This is, on the whole, I have to say, this is not going particularly well for the Swoodilypoopers. Down 1-0 in the 64th minute. It's raining. We're cranky. Our keeper, our still unnamed keeper, despite his excellent haircut, has let in a goal. It's just not ideal. And then I'm just not. Part of it's me, obviously. I'm not playing well. That's a big part of it. But we have a few other. There are a few other business principles, not as important as those. Oh, ball, John Grady cack! How do you not? I mean, I was under the impression that you were a finisher, because we've had 2 seasons of working together, and one thing that I've noticed is that you are a finisher. So how, in that situation, can you so massively fail to finish? Both you and other John Green have just not had good games when it comes to finishing, which is typically kind of your specialty. Like, it's sort of what I pay you to do, not to get economical about this, but By the way, we've kept that same principle in the Swindon Town Swoodilypoopers squad. We do not have any stars getting paid $100,000 a week because we want all employees to be compensated fairly within the context of the regime. Yeah. So there are some other ethical business practices that that we try to embrace, including trying to be reasonably carbon neutral, which I mean, I think is a little bit impossible, to be honest with you. Like, I think when companies say that they're quote-unquote carbon neutral, they're often not being completely honest, or they're basing their definition of carbon neutrality on on a measurement that like a payment per ton that's just not realistic relative to the actual market. What? How is that not a corner kick? Oh, this is a disappointment. Okay, we really need to get 1 point out of this game if we can. It's just I'm not that good on this new skill level. I'll tell you what, I can do this. I can do it. I can be. I can't remember if it's like what comes after. It's like championship or something. Anyway, I can succeed at this level. I just need to hit Y more. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I don't want to claim that we do things that we don't do, because we could do better. And if you have any good ideas, by the way, for business practices that you think make the world more fair and cool and a better place to live in, let us know, because we are always interested in doing that. Basically, it boils down to, not wanting to be a jerk and wanting to make the world suck less and also be more awesome. And we try, and also like making as many things free as possible. Not my books, but other things. Really, actually, everything except for my books is free. Oh, we're gonna give up a second goal. Jeez, this is kid stuff here. We're not playing well at all, and that's gonna be the end of the game. I'm gonna end it with an unnecessary slide tackle, because that basically shows my feelings. John Green, nay Bennett, squats in shame. Oh, disappointing result. Thanks for watching. Tell me what to talk about next time. And as always, my friends, best wishes.